Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, we don't do this. I'm gonna be very honest. We do not do this. That's so weird to an American. That is so odd. It's terrible. People are so mad about that. What is up? Welcome back. Today I'm watching a video titled 16 Things Not to Do in Germany. Let's get into it. What's up? My name's Aaron. I'm an American discovering Europe one country at a time. And today I want to learn about Germany. Germany is such a fascinating place. There is so much culture, history, food, music, amazing companies that come from this country. And so I'm so excited to get into it. I post videos every single day, so make sure you hit like and subscribe. You're gonna see another one just like this in the future. But now let's learn about these 16 things not to do in Germany. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? We are Deanna and Phil. Deanna is from the United States and I am from Germany. And in this video, we're going over 16 things that you should not do in Germany.
Alright, so some of these things are a little more serious and some of them are going to be pretty funny, so let's just get right into it.
Alright, number one, you should never recycle, wrong, or throw away your Pfand.
Pfand!
So Germany is a
Pfand.
pretty green country and people tend to take their recycling pretty serious. So if you're here, you should not just throw everything in one bucket, but separate it between plastic, metal, paper, rest, and all that good stuff. I don't even know how many there are.
So
Okay, that's such a good point. I mean, in the US, we literally throw everything into the same trash can. Everything. Yeah.
Pfand is a deposit where you pay a little extra on bottles or cans and you'll usually return them at a little machine in the supermarkets where you get a voucher and your money back for doing a good thing. So never throw away your Pfand bottle. Pfand!
Number two, you should never drive on the left or the middle lane of the Autobahn. There's
Okay.
actually a law in place that requires you to drive on the right lane on the Autobahn at all times unless you're overtaking somebody. So if you're not planning to go super fast and overtake a lot of people, you're required to drive on the right lane. So don't drive in the middle or the left lane slowly and block traffic.
Oh my gosh, this is such a problem in the United States. This is such a problem. People get in the far left lane and they go the speed limit. Or I say it that way because people normally don't pass going the speed limit. They pass going faster, right? So it's a huge problem in the US. This is amazing. Do people actually follow this in Germany? I hope they do in the Autobahn because from what I know, people can go really fast. So if you're just chilling in the left lane, it might lead to a bad crash.
Because people will get aggressive.
And honk. Number three, don't walk in the bicycle lanes. In Germany, there are a lot of different bicycle lanes in and out of the city, and especially in student towns, there'll be a lot of bikers. So don't walk in them. Walk in the pedestrian zones or a sidewalk. That's what they're for.
Number four, do not address strangers using their first name.
Okay, this one's interesting. Don't use their first name. I've heard in some countries you really need to get to know the person first. It can be pretty offensive if you use their first name without actually knowing them. I guess that's the same in Germany.
It is kind of funny, but in Germany for the word you, if you address somebody, we have two versions. There is du and there is sie. And sie is a polite version. It also implies that sie, you're on a last name basis. So that is the polite version to use. And if you meet somebody for the first time, or especially an elder person, you use the polite form. You do not use their first name. You are on a last name basis and use the sie instead of the du. And if you get to know a person very well and you're on a friend basis, on a first name basis, then it's fine to use the first name and the du. Du Deanna.
Du Diana.
Wait, hold on real quick. So my last name's Arnold. So it's Aaron Arnold. So if I met Deanna and Phil, I wouldn't say Deanna and Phil, I would say their last name. And they would say my last name. They would say, hi, Arnold, for example. Very interesting.
Number five, don't use public transportation without a ticket. A lot of the public transportation systems are controlled a lot and there'll be men and women who just appear once the ride has started to check on everyone to see if they have a ticket.
Yeah, they're undercover. And the fines are usually kind of high or out of proportion with the ticket prices.
Yeah.
A number I always have in my mind is 60 euros, but nowadays it might be even more, like 80 or 100.
It's not worth it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, number six, and this is a little bit more of a serious one. You should never show the Nazi salute or joke about Nazis in Germany. Of course, because of the history in Germany, it's kind of a forbidden thing to do. And most of the Germans nowadays were kind of raised by this post-World War II anti-Nazi generation. If another person comes to the country and does anything Nazi related, it's so out of our minds that it's so weird that the world still thinks that. So that's quite offensive and you should never ever do that. And by the way, the same thing also applies to sing the old version of the national anthem. And I think around the world a couple of people still think that might be it. And it's the one with the Deutschland, Deutschland über alles. That is the Nazi anthem. You're not allowed to sing that anymore. The real one is Einigkeit und Recht und Freiheit, blah blah blah. That's the newer national anthem, and that's the only one that's supposed to be sung in Germany.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea about any of this. I didn't even know there was 2 different national anthems. I had no clue.
Number 7, don't gossip in English in public. Most Germans have a very decent grasp of English and they'll probably understand you. I know it's very common when people go to other countries, they tend to gossip in another language. I've heard it spoken in different languages all the time, and it's a little uncomfortable and embarrassing when other people understand you. So to avoid uncomfortable situations like that, gossip behind their back.
Genau. Exactly. I think that's what that means. Yeah, this is something that I think Europeans always complain about. Americans just go to the restaurant and they're gossiping so loudly. It's really like they don't care. I would say that depends on the American, and it's unfortunate that that's what gets seen on social media, and that's what a lot of Europeans experience. So yeah, it's not a good thing.
Number 8, you should never disrespect the German quiet hours. So every day, or rather every night, from 10 p.m. till 6 or 7 a.m. the next morning, in Germany, by law, there are quiet hours. So you're not supposed.
Whoa, that's awesome. That is awesome. Honestly, that's how it should be. That's really how it should be, because we don't have that. From what I can think of, we don't have that. The only time I can think of us having something like this, a mandate, was during COVID. We had to be home by a certain time, but I don't remember having a no noise like time. Maybe they do in big cities. I'm not from a big city, so maybe that's the case. But yeah, this one's pretty honestly nice. I actually kind of like that.
Supposed to like play loud music, do construction or anything like that. Most of the country kind of abides by that rule, which means there's very little noise pollution during the night when you're trying to sleep or relax. And I think it's a kind of a nice thing. So if you do that, the Germans probably will call the police on you because they think they're in the right, and they do that and the police knocks and like, turn it down. Never ever disrespect the quiet hours.
Number 9, don't solely rely on credit card payments. In Germany, there's still a lot of things that are pretty cash-based.
Really? Okay. I wouldn't expect that, honestly, in Germany. I would expect it's all credit card at this point, especially like with the phones. I imagine there's a lot of tap and pay. So, where would you use cash? Maybe at like the farmer's market or bakery or something?
And sometimes your credit card will even be rejected from a stall or bakery or a vendor. So it's important to note and make sure you have cash on you. So number 10, don't expect small talk. If you're from the South and you're used to the good old Southern American small talk, that's not gonna happen. And it's
that's me. I'm from Georgia, and we you go to the gas station, it's like, hey, how you doing today? You know? Or if you go to a restaurant, hey y'all, can I get some, I don't know, can I help you today? You want a sweet tea? This kind of thing. It's really like that, to be honest. So this would be a shock for me, I think.
And it's not trying to be rude, it's just a cultural difference, so don't expect to chat with a random stranger about the weather or something.
Number 11 is do not expect free water anywhere.
What?
So if you're used to the American way, you go to a restaurant and the waiter comes right away with a nice bucket of cold ass water and refills you for free all evening long. That is not a thing in Germany, and you should not expect that. I think it's quite of a dumb thing, but water in German restaurants is quite expensive and most of the times even bubbly.
What? Sprudelwasser? I don't like the bubbly water. That's not something I like. I'm not used to that. From where I'm from, we don't drink that stuff. So, but it is true. Like, that's an odd thing. I would imagine that water would be free, especially in Europe, because you can get it from the sink. Tap water, right? In Germany, can you use tap water from the sink? In some places in the U.S. you can, but in my area, we don't really.
Sprudelwasser.
Number 12. Do not enter a house with your shoes on. So all around Germany, it's pretty common to take off your shoes if you enter somebody else's house. Or at least you should ask if you should take your shoes off. And sometimes they say, no, you don't have to. But a lot of times people take their shoes off right at the entrance, leave them there, and then just walk around in your socks.
Okay, we don't do this. I'm going to be very honest. We do not do this. We typically take our shoes off when we get to our room. So we walk into the house. I mean, obviously, if they're extremely dirty, muddy, and things like that, we take them off outside. We don't take them off inside the house. That's pretty obvious, but we don't have slippers at the door or anything. I mean, maybe we have comfy shoes, but typically you walk around the house barefoot or with socks on. That's just the way it is.
Leave your dirty shoes in the front.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious how many of the households do that. I would say the majority of the households in Germany do that thing and do not walk around with their shoes on. Maybe let us know in the comments below if you had to take your shoes off at your parents' house or how you do it at the moment.
So number 13, don't give advance birthday wishes.
Is that bad luck or something?
Even if it's a day before someone's birthday and you will not see them on their birthday, do not wish them a happy birthday.
It's not their birthday yet.
I learned that after coming to Germany. You are not allowed to wish them a happy birthday until on their birthday or after their birthday.
Yeah, and I was surprised to learn in the US that a lot of people do that actually.
Some people will have a party a week in advance if that just works with their schedule.
So much bad luck. Number 14 is kind of a very serious one. You should never, ever expect to be dressed in a sauna.
That's so weird to an American. That is so odd. We wear clothes in the sauna, like a bathing suit, for example. There is just this weird taboo about being naked in the US. You just don't do it. You just do not do it.
On every beach. All right, this is kind of a funny one. We just wanted to throw that in there. In Germany, in a sauna, usually you are naked. You go in with a towel and then you take it off or whatever, but you are actually not allowed to wear any clothing. If you wear clothing in there, people can get the whatever security or supervisors and they'll throw you out or make you undress.
You must be naked.
Yeah, there are also parts of beaches in Germany that are especially for nakedness, nudity.
Beaches.
What? That is so... I just can't comprehend that. My American mind is just kind of mind blown thinking about that. I mean, in the US, that would be absolute chaos if that happened.
Yeah, nude beaches. We call it FKK, Freikörperkultur. And on these beaches, you have to be naked. It's not allowed to wear any clothes.
Like fully naked?
What?
Yeah, fully naked.
Why is it not allowed to wear? See, that doesn't make any sense. I would understand if you can be naked, but the fact that you have to have your clothes off there, that's a little weird to me.
Yeah, so I've yet to go to a nude beach or a nude sauna, but I'm open to it.
Ho ho. Should I be concerned?
Why? Just gonna be a whole bunch of older people. So number 15, don't abandon your shopping cart. I feel like in the US, sometimes there'll be shopping carts spread throughout the parking lot and they'll just be...
It's terrible. People are so mad about that because what happens is if you leave a shopping cart in the middle of the parking lot, the wind comes or I don't know, something bumps it or someone moves it or it goes downhill from gravity and it literally crashes into cars. It dents them. It scratches cars. They're terrible. They should not be left outside of the return spot.
Just be like a shopping cart ghost town. In Germany, that is not the case. You need a coin to access a cart and you also want your coin back. So you have to return the cart to get your coin back. And it's a good system, it's nice, and there's not abandoned shopping carts everywhere.
And our last point number 16 is in Germany, you should not jaywalk.
We ain't in New York City.
Yeah, but we're kind of in Berlin, so let's say you should not, but a lot of people still do it. Although I think the majority of the people kind of follow the rules and they do not jaywalk. You should always cross where the little traffic light is and then only when the green
the man
mannequin,
tells you.
not the red one. And it's not that hardly persecuted, but you can actually get fined if you get caught in the act jaywalking.
So weird. I mean, jaywalking, it's so dangerous to be honest, but everyone in the US jaywalks.
So the police sees you, gets you, and I don't know how much it is, 5, 10, 20 euros, something like that. So you should not jaywalk in Germany. All right, so those...
Okay, that's it. Amazing. Amazing list. My German friend, do you have anything to add to this? I really enjoyed it. These two seem like they're a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know. I think Germany's an amazing place, an amazing culture, but it is so different than the US. It really is. I mean, on paper, I wouldn't imagine that it is, but just some of these do's and don'ts of the culture, it really seems It really seems different. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit like and subscribe so you can see another one just like this. If you have any video recommendations, drop those down below so I can check out those videos. If you want to get a deeper dive into my week, I release a newsletter every single week, just recapping what's going on in my life and sharing a bit more behind the scenes, some pictures, and just talking from my head. So if you want to see that, you can check that out down below. I also just started a Patreon account where I'm going to be sharing my life behind the scenes with my European fiance. We're discovering Europe together, traveling, and just talking about our cultural differences, just like this video kind of. Also, I'll be doing behind the scenes of reaction videos. So if you want to see that, make sure you check that out. As always, my channel members, thank you so much for being a part of this channel and supporting me on this journey of discovering Europe. It really, really means the world to me. So thank you so much for doing that and just being a part of my journey, seriously. Hope all of you have the best day wherever you're watching this and whenever you're watching this, and I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers.